Bye-bye, traitor.
To the death! Charge!
Hey folks, in this video I'll show you how I made my Skaven army banner for my new Skaven Old World army project. And I'll show you how you too can make old school looking Oldhammer style banners for your Old World armies with very simple steps. There will be a bit of freehand, but mostly I'll be tracing over an already established design, so it's fairly simple. The main inspiration for the banner and the army going forward is from Gareth Hamilton's incredible army from White Dwarf issue 230, and also a smidge of Andy Chambers' amazing Skaven army from way back in the day. Also a special shout out to Kim's Talisman on YouTube for giving me the inspiration for this project. If you haven't already, you should go check out his YouTube channel to see his incredible work. It makes mine look quite pathetic. And if you love that old school Oldhammer stuff, then that's the channel to go look at. So I'll put a link in the description. So for this piece I began using this old template, which can be found with a quick Google search, and I will literally be tracing over this. I'll likely be using this for all my banners for the army going forward as well. Might do a little bit of freehand, but probably mainly off this. So to begin, I just covered the entire piece with a slightly watered down Kislev flesh from Citadel. Then I applied Seraphim Sepia wash over the whole thing just to darken it down a tad. Next, I painted on the red lines using Mephiston red, and then outlined the inner design with XV88 and Rhinox hide. Next, I came in with a small packing sponge to weather the edges using Rhinox hide. No need to be too careful with this step. It doesn't need to be too neat, as I want it to be dirty looking and haggard. I also did dab over the banner with a tan colour very lightly before this step, which is why the red lines look a bit faded. But this is totally optional, and I don't really think it actually did anything and is noticeable anyway. And also I forgot to film it. After that I started on the inner design with Dawn Yellow. It's a nice bright colour, just like the old Andy Chambers design, so as to contrast the darker rat design and the drab looking tan backing. Around the inner edges of the rat head I used Corax white and then a small inner layer of white scar, just to give it a bit more emphasis. After filling the rat head in with Rhinox hide, I then went over the red lines again with Mephiston red and filled in the eyes. Now at this point you could stop, as it looks just fine, but then you can push it a little bit further. So I wasn't entirely happy with the tan background tone, so at this point I washed over a thinned layer of snakebite leather mixed with Lamia median over the whole banner just to darken it down a little, and I'm really happy with the results. So then I used Tesseract Glow to fill in the Skaven symbol in the rat head. And then, like an insane person who hates himself, I decided to freehand some Skaven symbols that I found online, and amazingly made no mistakes. I also didn't film this. So at this point I was pretty happy, and I was going to call it there, but I was debating whether to fray the edges of the banner to make it look even more tattered, very Skaven-y. And so I put the question online to some friendly helpers, and they convinced me to fray the edges, and I'm glad I did, because it completes it in my opinion. And then he was ready for the battlefield, to strike fear in the hearts of men and dwarf and elf alike. So in the future I'll likely be putting more videos from this Skaven project on the channel, as and when I decide to film. If you want to see more, consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more vids. Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.